Hey, it's Evan here from Block E Media Incorporated. So I've been out in Mexico now. I moved out from Vancouver in Canada in December of 2020. Right now, today's date is March 9th, 2021. So I've been out in Mexico for around 3 months now. And I've been asked this question so many times since coming out here. Evan, how much does it cost to live in Mexico? So I just wanted to give a bit of a rundown on what our expenses are and how much it actually costs to live out here on a monthly basis. So if you aren't familiar with Mexico, I'm on the Caribbean side of Mexico, right across from Playa del Carmen in a place called Cozumel. So I'll put the place right up here. And Cozumel is a bit more expensive versus other parts of Mexico mainly because it's an island. So I just wanted to run down what our expenses are living out here in Mexico and compare it to back home in Vancouver. So I want to touch point, and I got my little booklet right here along with my little fresh coffee. Let me just take a sip really quickly. So I'm going to open up my book and we're going to separate the expenses in a few different categories. So first one being rent, so how much rent is per month. Next one would be food and water, so food and water would be the following one, and then the following after that would just be miscellaneous expenses, so stuff that comes up and all that sort of things, entertainment, all that sort of stuff. So let's get right to the nitty gritty, and I will show you a video of our current place in Cozumel. What is going on, IG fam? So I just want to show you guys what $300 a month can get you out here in Cozumel in Mexico, where we're staying. So over here is a nice pool that we got right from our place. Little courtyard, pretty nice. And let's have a look at some of our front property. Gemma, say hello. So yeah, so pretty much this is what we can get there. Let's have a look at the kitchen. Pretty nice. We got a gas stove too. Yo, luxuries over here for around 300 bucks. And over here, let's go to the bedroom real fast. Only got like 20 more seconds, but yeah, here's the bed, little mini office area, washroom over here. Look at this nice tiling. It is a nice one. I'm a sucker for nice washroom. So yeah, and then we got a little backyards terrace over here. Let me just open this bad boy up, go back out here. But yeah, this is our backyard as well. Got one neighbor over here, then we got one other neighbor over there, but it's pretty quiet, pretty secluded as well. But yeah, so we pay just under $600 a month combined, so that's around 300 bucks each for this nice place. Do you like this place, Gemma?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty nice. We get our own little private pool too. And yeah, so that's what we can get for out here. And compared to Vancouver, like Vancouver, you can literally pay like $1,000 for a basement, essentially, where you get barely any light and only having a window. So pretty much this is around 50% cheaper than if we were to stay in Vancouver. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm gonna go for a swim in the pool, and yeah, that's all I gotta say right now. So yeah. Peace. So as you can see in that last video from our place out here, we decided to splurge a little bit more on a pretty nice place. So nice pool, nice little area as you saw in that last video. And our total cost for this place, like I mentioned, was around $600 Canadian. So it's actually around 10,500 pesos. So I'll put the exact figure up. Sorry, just kind of right there, a little lactic acid, but hey, everything's raw here at Block E Media. And it's around, I think, like $620 Canadian, give or take. I'll put the USD figure up here as well, just so that my USD followers can or my United States followers can have an idea for how much this place actually is in United States dollars. So spent 10,500 pesos for this month here at our place. Compared to Vancouver, I'll actually just show some quick photos of some places in Vancouver right now. on what the equivalent cost is of this type of place in Vancouver, minus the sun and minus the nice people that are everywhere. Vancouver, compared to the rest of Canada, is known as a very cold and dark city, and no, I'm not talking about the weather either. Vancouver is kind of like everyone head down, doing their own thing all the time, big city vibes, and it's just kind of known as not really a friendly city, and I get that vibe as well. Personally, after traveling, I've traveled to almost 40 countries in the world, and I 100% find Canadians, for example, not to diss Canada or all that sort of stuff, kind of have a misconstrued reputation for being people that are really nice and friendly when you compare it to Americans, for example. But I feel like it's the opposite. I actually think Americans are much, much nicer, but they're a little bit more loud and all that sort of stuff, which I don't mind whatsoever. I love every American that I've met while traveling to these near 40 countries. I've had nothing but really good experiences with Americans. With Canadians, however, a lot of Canadians are passive aggressive. So I don't know if you realize this back at home or whatever. I'm going on a bit of a side tangent here, but a lot of Canadians, especially those that I've met while traveling, I love Canadians, I love Canucks. Don't get me wrong with that, but a lot of Canadians are very passive aggressive, and I find that the more east that you go along Canada, the more passive aggressive people are until you get to the Maritimes. But I actually haven't really met too many people traveling from the Maritimes out to Canada, but the more east you go, the more passive aggressive it gets until you get to the Maritimes area. So just to keep that in mind. So like an American will be a bit more upfront about certain situations, while a Canadian might be a bit more passive aggressive and nice to your face, say sorry, oh I didn't mean anything, and then kind of talk behind your back. That's just my experience. 27 years on this planet, don't get me wrong with it, but yeah, that's our total expenses here for this place in Cozumel. 10,005 or not 10,000, but 10,500 Mexican pesos per month. And then now I want to talk a bit about food. I just dropped my pen really quickly, but I'll leave that down there for a quick second. But a bit about food. So depending on who you are and what kind of budget that you have and whether or not you want to eat out, eating out is pretty freaking cheap. But also eating in is incredibly cheap as well. Myself and my girlfriend Gemma, we both spend around 1,000 pesos a week on food, so both of that together, so that's around 4,000 pesos a month is what we spent in food. And that's going to be roughly around, I'm going to say like $60 Canadian or so. That's per week, and that's with making everything at home. And we buy quite a bit of stuff, and we eat quite a bit too. And we've been 100% plant-based for years. So we eat a lot of like beans, lentils, rice, all that sort of stuff. That's some of the cheapest things at the grocery store. The only thing that kind of shocked us was that chickpeas are a bit more expensive here than in other places, but everything else is just way, way cheaper. Avocados are way cheaper, broccoli's way cheaper, tomatoes are really cheap, onions are really cheap too. So we've had a really good experience with the food, especially the grocery stores here. Coming from Canada in December of 2020, a lot of the grocery shelves with COVID and stuff were empty. And that was kind of freaky. I freaked out a little bit, not gonna lie, with the food situation in Canada. But here in Mexico, there's no problem with the food supply. And I was a little concerned as well coming out to an island in Mexico. I didn't know what the food situation was gonna be like, but we've hit up a few different grocery chains here. One that we frequent quite a bit is one called Chedraui. Another one is Mega. And the third one is Soriana. So those are the three different grocery stores that we go to, and on average we spend around 1,000 pesos a week on food and groceries. So yeah. Next is water. So the water situation. We don't drink the tap water here. We've been told by locals, do not drink the tap water. It's not very good, and we're kind of lucky where we're from in Vancouver in Canada. I believe it's around 4 out of the 5 top freshwater or tap water sources actually in all of Canada actually come from this place called the Lower Mainland. So it's the Greater Vancouver area, and with the 5th being in the Fraser Valley, which is about an hour outside of Vancouver. So pretty much like 5 out of the 5 top freshwater and tap water sources in all of Canada are where we're from, and we're really spoiled in Vancouver with our water sources and our access to clean tap water. Everywhere else in the world is not so lucky. And a lot of people in Vancouver take advantage of that, which is quite sad, really, because a lot of people in Vancouver, they don't really travel anywhere else, both from not wanting to leave Vancouver and then just complaining about the weather the whole time, and the other is that they just can't afford to leave because Vancouver is just so expensive. So taking a trip is incredibly expensive. But if you want to see a video of me talking about a credit card hack that I do in order to pay for my travel and all that sort of stuff, I'll actually put a video up here on the Amex Gold card and how I actually like travel for free, as well as get my travel insurance completely paid for. So I'll put that video up there that you can have a look at. But water here, there's a few different options in order to get water. You can go to one of the freshwater taps that are a few blocks away with these 20-liter big jugs, these crystal jugs, so you can take those out. I'll put a photo of it up right now. But you can take these jugs, walk over a few blocks away, and get that filled up. So that's around, I think it's around like 10 to 15 pesos or so to fill it up from there. Those are a little far away, and these things are heavy. 20 liters of water is pretty heavy. So what we do instead is that there's a water delivery service. So we'll actually just leave our water outside of our place, and new 20-liter cans will be delivered by the water guys, and they'll come in and they will leave the new water there, take the old 20-liter bottles out, and they will full service, all that sort of stuff. It's 30 pesos per water 20-liter plastic water thingamabobs. So it's 30 pesos each. So that's roughly, we use around 2 of those per month. Or not per month, but per week. So 2 of those per week, so that's around 60 pesos. So that will come out to around 240 pesos per month on fresh water, which is how we clean our vegetables, and we make our food with that, all that sort of stuff. And we use quite a bit of water because we don't really drink any like soda or spend money on other types of products and stuff, and alcohol, which I'll get to in just a second. But yeah, we use quite a bit of water. So most people will use a lot less, but we use quite a bit. So yeah, so it's around 240 pesos per month for that. So with that being said, let's move on to the last category, which is miscellaneous items. So one thing here, while we are out in Cozumel, we do take in consideration transportation. There is no bus service where we are on this island. And there's not many colectivos that go, which is these vans of like 12 to 16 people that go around to different places on the island. But where we want to go is to the opposite end of the island, which is where most of the beaches are. Where we are in Cozumel is a place called Centro, and there's not many beaches around here, or if there is, they're kind of like small, skinny, it's kind of rocky. So we like to go to the other side of the island, and I'll just showcase a couple videos and stuff so that you can have a look at what it looks like. And yeah, we like to go out there, but we need to take a taxi service out there. Usually there's 4 of us that go into a taxi that go out there, and one way out to the opposite end of the island from Centro is around 250 pesos. We probably pay the foreigner cost to go out there. I'm sure if you're a local, it might be a bit less than that, but we pay 250 pesos each way to get out there, split amongst 4 people, so that's around 62.5 pesos each. If you want, so it's around 125 pesos total if you want to go to and from. But what we like to do is we like a little bit of sense of adventure, and we like to just go out there one way, and then what we do is we usually hitchhike our way back into Centro, just like this. And yeah, so we're a little bit unconventional. We hitchhike back, not really necessarily for the cost reasons. Like, I can afford to pay for myself and my girlfriend to go to and from. There's absolutely no problem with that. But we like the sense of adventure because we like to meet up with new people, and it's a little bit more fun. And people have a misconception of hitchhiking and stuff, and that's dangerous, especially out in the West, like in Canada and the United States. It's actually a lot of fun out here. Met some really good people, so I've had no complaints about it, and our group has had no complaints about it either. With that being said, there's about 3 more items left on the miscellaneous side of the costs out here in Cozumel. So first one, I'm just looking down on my booklet right here. So first one that I want to cover is medical. So medical, so that includes travel insurance, all that sort of fun stuff. If you want travel insurance and stuff, my travel insurance is roughly around, I'm going to say $250 for 3 months, but I didn't include that in my cost coming out here because that's not included in a monthly expense. Because I'm actually just letting my travel insurance expire. Like I live a little dangerously, and I'm knocking on wood right here, or knocking on this a little bit, because mine's just about to expire. But I don't think they're covering anyone out here, considering that the Canadian government actually just banned travel to and from Mexico and the Caribbean, so sun destinations, because the Canadian government doesn't like it when we send posts back, post Instagram stories, all that sort of stuff, showing that it's pretty normal here, and it goes against the propaganda narrative that's been going on in Canada over the last year. So that's why they've kind of banned people leaving and going to sun destinations. And Playa del Carmen, just across from where I am in Cozumel, it's actually known as like a Canadian refugee site. So there's a lot of Canadians that are over there. They've considered themselves Mexican refugees in Playa del Carmen. So they're having a bit of fun with it. But medical, you should always put some money aside for medical. I've written down here, I usually put around 250 to 500 pesos down just for medical alone. Just in case, like worst case scenario, something like that, something like I get a scrap or a scrape or have to go visit a doctor. I usually just carry cash around for that, and I leave some cash on the side. So I usually have 250 to 500 pesos locked away and saved as if I've already spent it. So yeah, that's always really good to have, is like a little medical expenses on the side. The second one that I want to cover with miscellaneous is alcohol. So depending on your drinking habit, as well as other types of drugs or whatever you want to use for your own adventures. Yeah. So alcohol, I don't really drink all that much, and neither does my girlfriend. So our alcohol purchases are really low, but we usually will spend around 150 pesos a month on alcohol. And at the local OXXO, which is the equivalent to like 7-Eleven back at home, or Max in Canada, Couche-Tard for my Quebecois followers, it's going to be around 150 pesos for a 12-pack plus 2 beers. That was the special that was on there. So 14 beers for 150 pesos. So I just put that in for a monthly thing. It goes on sale like that once a month. So I'll put that on there for our expenses as well. And then the last thing I want to go over is entertainment. Entertainment, it depends on the person for that one. Myself and my girlfriend, we actually don't spend any money on like entertainment. Actually, I want to talk about entertainment and one more thing. We actually don't really spend any money on entertainment, but you can easily spend between 250 to 500 pesos per month with that. So you can put that into your expenses as well. But the very last thing that I want to cover is repair expenses, especially for myself, with my phone, with my laptop. It's very important for me to have some cash set aside every single month while I'm out here in case something does happen. So I usually have the same thing as a medical expense with that. So between 250 to 500 pesos set aside in case something were to happen, something breaks, all that sort of stuff, so I can get it fixed while I'm out here. So I usually will have that set aside, and that's a per month basis. So sometimes I'll spend it, sometimes I won't, just like the medical. I haven't had to spend any medical, but I put that cash aside for that, and I haven't had to spend any money on repair, knock on the wall, or whatever you want to do with that. So yeah, with that being said, let's get to the grand totals. All right, so let's get down to the grand totals. I'll put the numbers up here for how much pesos, and then I'll convert it to Canadian as well as American dollars as well. So first thing is rent. Rent, we spent 10,500 pesos. Next thing, this is also between 2 people as well. So these expenses include 2 people. So first thing is rent, which is 10,500 pesos. Second one is food, so 4,000 pesos. Put that back up here. Next one would be restaurants. Oh my God, did I even cover restaurants in this? If I didn't cover restaurants, we like to eat out twice a week. Usually the cost is between around 200 to 400 for a couple. So that's around 300. So that's around 300. So that's 600 total for a week. So that's 2,400. So 2,400. So sorry about that. Let's add that to the cost as well. So $2,400 in restaurants, food, bar, all that sort of stuff. So we go out twice per week, either to a restaurant or a bar or whatnot. So sorry about that. Everything's on the go here at Blocky Media. So yeah, so let's just cover it all again. 10,500 pesos for rent. We have 4,000 for food and for food at the grocery store. 2,400 pesos for restaurants, bars, and clubs. And then we have 240 pesos for water. And included in the rent is also internet and electrical, all that sort of stuff is included in there. Next, we got 500 pesos for our 500 pesos for taxis. So going to and from the other side of the island twice per week. So that's around 500 pesos. So we already did the math before on that one. And then I have another 500 pesos on there for medical between both of us. So 500 pesos. Next one I have is 150 pesos for alcohol, so 150 pesos. Then I have repair. So repair, I put around 500 pesos as well for repair, and I put nothing for entertainment because we didn't really spend any money on entertainment. So let's put some of those totals all together. Sorry for the mix-up. So if you were following along with all of my chaos, sorry, very chaotic. I'm an ENTP from the Myers-Briggs, so sometimes things get a little chaotic. But the total cost in pesos for 2 people, for a couple, in 1 month was 18,790 pesos. So I'll put that right up here. Get my hair out of the way too. 18,790 pesos. So let's divide that into Canadian. As of today, March 9th, 2021, the dollar and versus the peso, the Canadian dollar versus the Mexican peso, has been starting to go more in our favor. This is one of the cheapest times to ever come out to Mexico in Canadian history. So right now, what it costs as a Canadian with 18,790 total between 2 people is $1,118.05. That's how much it costs between 2 people in Canada, or from in Canadian dollars, to come out here in Mexico. That's how much we spent this last month. And for my United States friends, it comes out to a total of $883.83. So let's put that into perspective for how much I paid as an individual while I was out here. My total as a solo Canadian in solo Canadian dollars was $559 Canadian is what I spent this month in Mexico. And for my United States friends, that's around 442 American dollars total. It is so cheap to come down here in Mexico. It's gorgeous, both the people as well as the scenery, all that sort of stuff. And like I mentioned before, the clubs, the restaurants, the bars, they are all open right now, and they've been open this whole time too. We had a little bit of a scare when the traffic light system that's out here went from yellow to orange for about 2 weeks or so, but then it came back to yellow, mostly probably because spring break is here, so it came back up to yellow. But guys, like, in all honesty, I've saved so much money from coming out here to Mexico versus being in Canada. And I'm so thankful to be down here in Mexico. I'm very blessed to be out here with my SMMA, my digital marketing agency. And if you're curious to know a bit more about what I do, you can hit the subscribe button, and you can go to my channel, go see some of my past videos and my whole journey over the last 3 years with my digital marketing agency, and how I got to this point where I've been able to move out from my place in Canada and come out to Mexico, and why it's just so cheap. Like, guys, I'm spending like $560 Canadian, which is around $440 US while out here in Mexico. It is crazy times that we live in. The cost is rising in North America, so in Canada and in the United States, due to inflation and money printing, all that sort of insanity. Well, down here in Mexico, it is a great time, and you can get so much further with your own money. So yeah, Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this type of content, this is something I've never done before, so yeah, let me know down in the comments whereabouts you're based in, and if you have any questions about coming out to Mexico, all that sort of stuff, would love to hear it from you down in the comment section below. And yeah, wish you guys a great day, and ta-ta.